Most of the kids are scoring 90 plus today. Like, oh wow, great, you have done good. But after just a minute or two, they say, okay, that uncle's son scored 97%.
10th and 12th are important years of your life. But at the end of it, it is just an external exam.
You can't eliminate a fear of failure because without a fear of failure, there is no drive to succeed.
So many kids have scored 90 plus, 80%. There have been some cases which really shook me that some children have really taken the drastic step. We who are putting the pressure, it is the society, because people and relatives, everybody is going to call and ask, "Acha, beti ke kitne number aaye?"
Three most crucial things would be teaching an acceptance of failure. Secondly, would be respecting a lot of the wishes that the children do have. And the third thing I would ask you all to do with your children is a lot of love, because this generation is weak.
Hi everyone, welcome to today's episode of Unmute Yourself, where we are going to have some real and raw conversations. The topic that we are going to take today is a pretty serious one with the prevalent condition that is going on, which is the results that just came out for various board exams. So we are just going to discuss that. And as you can see, I have Gauri here with me. Thanks, Gauri, for being here again.
Hi guys, good to be here back again.
And we'll just try to bring in some valid points out here. And if even one of those points is good enough for you to take away today and it makes a difference in your or your child's life, I think
we'll do a good job if we are able to do this.
Right? And maybe these will be some of the things that all of us know. So yes, we are not saying anything new here, but just putting some things into perspective. So let's start with that.
So the topic that we're going to discuss today is basically around exam pressures and how we as parents deal with it and how do we let our children deal with it. Right?
That's so true, because most of the kids are scoring 90 plus today. Like out of 24 lakhs that appeared for grade 10 CBSE board, 2 lakhs scored above 90. And parents whose kids have scored 93, 94, they are like, oh wow, great, you have done good. But after just a minute or two, they say, okay, that uncle's son scored 97%. So are we really cheering up our kids, or are we just telling them, you have done good, but you could have done better?
See, I think suddenly this is what I feel, and 10th and 12th are important years of your life. But at the end of it, it is just an external exam, which is the starting point of your life, right? 30 years down the line, I don't think anybody now asks us how much did you score in class 10, other than we telling our children, you know, we scored so much. But
it might not be true also, huh? They are not going to see our mark sheets, so we can make up any percentage.
But the point is, with parents putting so much of pressure on your child, suddenly when he or she comes in class 10th or 12th, we start harboring around it, right? Oh, abhi 10th hai saal, abhi 12th hai saal, you know, we can't go outside, we can't take a trip. I mean, why? Why are we not normalizing a year like class 10 or class 12 in their life? Yes, they have to study. Yes, they have to give the exams. Yes, they have to score well. But do we have to give so much of pressure to them that they start actually putting this class 10th and class 12th wala fever in every activity that they do? I don't think that's right. That kind of pressure should not be there.
See, now here the thing is that we as parents say, okay, fine, it is not we who are putting the pressure, it is the society, because people and relatives, everybody is going to call and ask, "Acha, beti ke kitne number aaye?" Right? And it actually happens as well. But is it the society or is it the parental pressure?
See, I think you've answered this very correctly.
I have to prove it, okay, because it is about my parenting.
See it from that angle. We are the society.
We are the society, right? Exactly.
We are a part of the society. So as parents, when we behave like that, you think others will not. So that constant comparison of my child did better than yours, I mean, what are we setting them up for? We are setting them up for a ruckus. And 10th and 12th is the starting. There are various exams that they will come across in life. There'll be like abundant of points where they will fail in life. They will have to dust themselves, they will have to go over it, and they will have to get over it, and they will have to do it all over again.
They will have to do it.
So what we need to teach them is how to do it in the best possible way.
But Gauri, tell me one thing. Like, this is one of the things now. When we were just discussing that, so many kids have scored 90 plus, 80%. There have been some cases which really shook me, that some children have really taken the drastic step. The question that comes to our mind as a parent is that, is the pressure so high during the exams that this is the extreme? Because come what may, taking your own life is something nobody can think of.
So I kind of don't agree that the exam pressure causes any child to take an extreme step. I think that toxicity involving a life or taking your own life has to be so huge. It cannot be just reduced to an exam pressure. Yes, pressure can compound that anxiety, can
True.
add to that anxiety, but you need to be a really disturbed human being or a child and really troubled to come to this point that an exam can drive you to suicide. But it's a reality, it does happen.
It's a reality, and now we talk about that. Okay, the parents are educated, they know what is right, what is wrong, and they give all the privileges to their kids, and they are very cool parents, as we say, because this is the only generation which is actually maintaining that balance between their parents and their kids. But when it comes to being very strict with kids, even raising hands on them, we somehow think that, okay, in this urban class it is not so. Now it is mostly in lower middle class or that kind, where education is not, the parents are not that educated. But it came to my knowledge that parents who are into educational field, parents who are scientists, still they use belts and all that to thrash their kids. Like, these are the educated parents that we are talking about.
See, it might be happening in some sections of the society. Nobody is denying that. But I also believe it is much to do with the parent psychology.
Exactly. So
It
when
is
the
not-
pressure we are talking about, it is on the parents. Yes, the pressure is there, and the pressure definitely would flow down to the children as well.
Sure.
But we as parents, we need to be self-aware first, that am I passing on my anxiety, my pressure to my kid?
Correct.
Right?
We need to know where to draw the line. Our
Exactly.
pressures, our anxiety, our insecurities, generation by generation, again, it comes to healing. If you know where to put a stop, you will not pass it to your child. See, what is important is we have to teach the children to be more resilient. We have to teach them how to deal with failures, not just success. We have to teach them how to navigate life.
Exactly.
It is extremely important to sail through the wrongs of life and emerge successful. And typically that's why what we were talking about, a sports person always kind of succeeds in life, because they know that they'll be down at one point, but they will have to get up. You have to repractice, you have to rework, and again fight it out. That fighting spirit,
That has to be
that has
true.
to be inside you.
So we always tell our kids, and our parents told us, that do not let success get to your head. Maybe somewhere there had to be another line to it, that do not let failure get to your heart.
Correct.
Right? So failure is important, faltering is important, falling is important. We need to tell that to the kids as well. We say, that, okay, fine, this generation is so privileged, they cannot move without their mobile phones, without the ACs. They never asked for it. It is normal for them. As I was just
We've
talking.
given it to them.
We
For
have
them, it
given
is a
to them.
normal way of
Yes.
life. Yeah.
So even when, I'll be very honest, when I was asking my son, okay, what do you think, what would be the result? So I was like, pass to ho hi jaunga. And it was jokingly, I also, but hand on my heart, I was actually worried at that point. Okay, he's saying, what if actually he just gets passing marks? So he was sorted. He's like, and then there was a dialogue. Okay, a piece of paper cannot decide my destiny, which is actually true.
Actually true.
He used it jokingly, but which is actually true. And maybe after a week or 10 days, nobody is actually even going to talk about how much did you score in 10th or 12th. They will just move on.
Yeah.
Right?
See, we have to raise our children to be enough by their own definition. We have to raise our children to be not validated by others. We have to raise them to be strong. We have to raise them to face the world.
True.
We cannot let them be defined by marks that they get in class 10 or 12. That is not going to help them in the longer run. If we are able, it doesn't matter if a child has scored 90% or 98%. The child has to be intelligent to score a 90. So why are we aiming for that extreme perfection? And that's the same in every day of life, right?
That is.
You have to reach a goal, a standard which you have set for yourself. When you compete with yourself. Be better than your last version.
Exactly.
That's what success is.
That's what
to me.
success is. And today, when we hear this word resilient, being resilient in the corporate world, the reason is if the child is not confident enough, if the child is scared to fall or scared to fail during the school, when they eventually grow up and get into this corporate life, making their careers, they're so scared to fail that I think half the time they're so stressed and so worried and so anxious. And that is the reason that we say, okay, Gen Z is not very apt for work. They are not resilient enough. They take things too hard. They are very sorted. Some of them are really, really
I
sorted.
think they're more clearer than us
They
in a
are
lot
more
of
clearer.
things.
But yes, resiliency needs to be there. Not at that corporate level. It needs to start right from our homes, right? It could just be as simple as whatever has been made for lunch or dinner, and the kids are like, okay, fine, this is it. And if the kid says, no, I don't want to eat it, it's like, this is what is there. And you don't give them options. Okay, you don't want to eat this. What do you want to eat? So these are the very small things. It might look very minuscule also. Okay, it does not matter whatever he or she wants to eat. But it is all about adjustments. It is all about saying, okay, fine, what is there? And
It's all about starting all over again. You might you might not like something. You might still have to do it.
it's okay. You just need to live, just being. And that is why when we talk about human being, because we just need to be there, just enjoy life. Yes, study is an important point, a very important one, because it makes your career, but that is just a part of your entire life. It is not your entire life. So as parents, it is our duty and double duty, if we say so, because we brought them into this world. So it is our responsibility how they are navigating. If they are failing, yes, we are failing, and it is okay to fail together. So when as parents we say, na, okay, fine,
No, but
we
frankly,
scored
you
this
have
much
to-
and this much, please share your failures with them.
The definition of failure is very different for different people. Like the way you define success, you can also define failure. I mean, not necessarily what is a failure for me might be a success for somebody
Yeah,
else.
show them, like, vulnerability is fine. Show them it is okay. If you feel something bad, you want to cry in front of them. If you want to talk it out to them. Just have those honest conversations, those fun conversations. And when it's time to study, yes, you have to be serious for the study factor as well.
But again, rightly said, class 10 and 12 don't define a child's success
Yes.
as you go forward. It
Yes.
is, as you rightly said, a piece of paper doesn't define you as a person.
So our children are our children. They are not the marks that they get.
Yeah.
Arav is a 15-year-old and he has just gotten in grade 10, and next year he would be giving the boards exam, right? So welcome to the podcast, Arav.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so the big question. So today we are talking about the boards exam and the pressure that is all around on the kids, but more on the parents. So because you also would be sailing in the same boat next year during the same time, where maybe you would be receiving the calls or your mom would be receiving the calls as how much Arav has scored. What's your take on it? How are you going to handle this pressure?
So competition is the reality of life, and so is pressure. So yes, I will be in the same boat next year. But as a child, I've often learned not to take pressure, especially when it comes to examination situations. But the reality is that for most of the children, a big pressure falls on them. A pressure not always coming from self, but rather from peers, from comparison, from parents. It's a reality because over the generations, as advancement has occurred, ease has fallen into particularly what is our generation. My dad, he's always told me how spoiled I am, and how being this spoiled is what has led me to not having the same drive as that your generation might, right? But at the same time, advancement will lead to that. So does development. The generation before you, they had a harder life. The generation before them, they had a
That
harder
is what
life.
evolution is. Exactly.
It is evolution,
Exactly.
right? And with evolution, a lot of things have changed. That's particularly why in today's world, pressure on the students is continuing to increase. Even though there's a lot of awareness which is centered around it, there's not enough being done for students to be able to cope with pressure. There is always a fear of failure, and that fear of failure is what is driving that pressure cycle, and it's building on them again and again and again.
Thanks for bringing that into light, Arav. That fear of failure is there, because when we come across this generation, we find that this generation is very sorted. This generation knows what they really want. But now when we know, okay, there is maybe fear of failure also somewhere playing around in their mind, I would be keen to know that are you doing anything about it once you're aware? So awareness itself is a great thing, because if you're aware that, okay, fine, I am scared to fail, right? What are you doing about it? Because it is okay to fail, and that is what we are focusing on now, that we tell our children that do not let success get to your head, but at the same time we need to tell them, do not let failure get to your heart. It is okay to fail, right? It is okay to falter. So if this generation has this fear of failure, somewhere you all need to know that it is okay to fail. Why are you also scared to fail?
Absolutely. That acceptance of failure, that's something which needs to be embodied by every individual, not only our generation, but something which needs to be fostered for generations to come.
Correct.
Because you can't eliminate a fear of failure, because without a fear of failure, there is no drive to succeed.
That's
right?
true.
But an acceptance of failure, that is exactly what the generation needs in order to be more acceptant of not only their own faults, but the faults of others, which will foster a better environment, which will
Exactly.
foster understanding. And so, yeah, that acceptance of failure, it needs to be driven by parents, because at the end of the day, peers are just as weak as you. And as we drive it into the child will then be a beacon for people around, right?
That's true.
We will be promoting an environment so in which all children are accepted. It might just come from my mother, maybe it transfers to me. Maybe my acceptance of failure allows me to accept others' failures, which allows them to accept their own failures.
That's
and that
true.
process will keep continuing. That's why at even every small level, it's very important to drive that in. And that's something where I think parents do lack. It's something that we
that's
miss a lot.
So, Arav, if you just have to sum it up and if you have to tell all the parents, what are the 3 things that they need to focus while raising their kids, especially the teenagers, when this transition is happening, grade 10, grade 11, grade 12, when they are moving on to the colleges. So, what are those 3 things that you would want to tell the parents?
I think the 3 most crucial things would be, first, as I mentioned, teaching an acceptance of failure. Secondly, would be respecting a lot of the wishes that the children do have. Because even though the wishes seem illogical, particularly I'm talking in terms of studying. Let's say, I don't want to study right now, maybe later. Unfortunately, our generation in particular, because we end up suppressing a lot, we end up resenting. At some level, giving space and giving individuality and independence in those decisions is what we need to bring a responsible attitude. My mother in particular, she leaves me alone when it comes to studying. And as a result, I've been able to create a system that works for me, that makes me independent. And I think that's an approach that every parent has to embody, because without it, we're spoon feeding, right? We're either spoon feeding or we're pushing, and these are both factors which will get eliminated. So that's something that needs to be emphasized on in these years, because otherwise in the years to come, in that work life, people are also going to want to be spoon fed. Naturally, it's something that they get used to. It's a tendency. And the third thing I would like to, I would ask you all to do with your children is a lot of love, because this generation is weak. As again, evolution. It's evolution at the end of the day that is making every following generation weaker. But that weakness is not always a bad thing. It's what makes us more vulnerable. It's what makes us more understanding of emotions. It's what makes us more emotionally intelligent. But yet, a lot of love needs to be taken, because without that love, those children are going to feel neglected, and they're going to feel as if they have no standing. A loved child is always going to be a better child, and that is the reality. So, and the world can never have two less love.
Thank you so much, Arav. Thank you, everyone. And I hope what Arav has echoed here, all of this would definitely be very helpful, because this is the voice of this generation. And he has directly asked you what are these 3 things that he would want all the parents to follow. And let's hope so. We raise a loved generation, a resilient generation who's not scared to fail, who's not scared to falter, because they know that they have you to come back to home. Thank you all. That would be all for today's episode. Thank you so much, Arav.
Thank you.
Let's hope that we are able to move ahead with some of the pointers that we just discussed today. And if you want to know more about it, or if you want all of these in some pointers and a toolkit kind of way, just put it into the comments and we'll share that toolkit with you as well.
Thank you so much. I think we'll wrap it up for today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.